All right, today we are cracking open one of philosophy's oldest, coldest cases, the mystery of being itself. Our lead detective, none other than Martin Heidegger, and his case file is his legendary and famously difficult book, Being and Time. For thousands of years, this was pretty much the official story. The question of what it even means to be was considered so huge, so broad, that trying to pin it down was just a waste of time. So, yeah, philosophy just moved on. The consensus was that being was either so obvious it didn't need explaining, or so deep we could never explain it. Either way, the file was stamped unsolvable and locked away in a drawer somewhere. And that's where Martin Heidegger comes in. He's the guy who walks into the dusty old archive, finds that file, and blows the dust right off it. He believed that by closing this case, philosophy hadn't just made a little mistake. It had forgotten its most important job. Heidegger's big claim was actually pretty shocking. He argued that the entire history of Western philosophy, all the way back to the ancient Greeks, was built on a forgotten question. We got so busy studying things that exist that we forgot to ask the most basic question of all. What does it mean to exist? I mean, think about it. We study beings all the time. A scientist studies planets, a biologist studies cells, you and I talk about chairs and cars and computers. But Heidegger points out this massive blind spot. We never step back and ask about the isness of it all. What's this fundamental being that all these different things share? This is it. This is the heart of the mystery. Not what is a star or what is a rock, but what is. What does it mean for anything to be here at all? This is the cold case Heidegger wanted to blow wide open. So, okay, if this question is so important, why did it go cold? Well, Heidegger identified three main arguments, three dismissals, that basically shut down the investigation for centuries. Let's look at the flimsy evidence behind each one. The first excuse was that being is just too general. I mean, everything is, right? A rock is, a thought is, the color blue is. So the concept applies to everything, which means it tells us nothing specific. But Heidegger's comeback is brilliant. He says, hold on, just because it's universal doesn't mean we understand it. In fact, that's what makes it the most mysterious and important thing to figure out. The second argument was, you can't define being. You can't list its properties like you can for a table. It has 4 legs, a flat top. And Heidegger says, you're absolutely right, you can't. But that doesn't mean the case is unsolvable. It just proves that being isn't another thing on the list of things. It's something else entirely, which means we need a whole different way to investigate it. And the final dismissal, come on, it's self-evident. We all use the word is a million times a day, so obviously we know what it means. Heidegger argues that sure, we have a fuzzy, everyday grasp of it. He calls it a pre-ontological understanding. But that is not the same as having real, solid knowledge. It's kind of like the difference between knowing how to ride a bike and being a physicist who can explain exactly how it works. Okay, so with all those old, bad arguments thrown out of court, Heidegger needed a lead. He needed a way in. And he realized that to understand being, you have to talk to the one and only being who actually cares about being. He found his key witness. And guess what? That witness is us. Heidegger came up with this special term, Dasein, which literally means being there, to talk about the unique way that humans exist. Now, Dasein isn't just a fancy German word for human. It specifically points to the fact that we're the kind of beings who are aware of and actually worried about our own existence. So why are we the star witness in this case? Well, unlike a rock or a lizard, we don't just exist. We know that we exist. We think about it, we worry about it, we wonder what it means. For us, our own being is an issue. And that, for Heidegger, makes us the one and only entry point into this whole mystery. We're the only ones who can answer the question because we're the only ones who are already asking it. Now, to really follow Heidegger's detective work, we need to get 2 terms straight. The ontic is all about the specific facts and details of individual things, the beings. Think of it like studying one particular tree. The ontological, on the other hand, is about the fundamental structure of being itself. It's not about the trees, it's about the forest. Most science is ontic. Heidegger is trying to do something ontological. So, we've got our witness, Dasein, but how do we interrogate them? The usual scientific methods won't work here. You can't put being under a microscope. Heidegger needed a specialized investigative tool for this very unique case.
and his chosen method is called phenomenology. It basically flips the normal scientific method on its head. See, science tries to remove the messy human perspective to get to some objective truth out there. But phenomenology says, wait a minute, that human perspective, our actual lived experience, that's the crucial piece of evidence. The goal isn't to study things as they are in some abstract sense, but to study how they actually show up for us.
This is how Heidegger himself puts it, and it sounds a little dense, but it's actually beautiful. What he's saying is, let's stop trying to force our theories onto the world. Let's just be quiet for a minute and carefully describe what shows up, exactly as it shows up. And this is why it's the perfect tool for this investigation. Being isn't hiding on some other planet. It's right here, all around us, all the time. It's just hidden in plain sight, covered up by all our day-to-day distractions. Phenomenology is the method designed to peel back those layers and finally see what's been right in front of our faces the whole time. So, Heidegger had it all figured out. He reopened the case, he identified the key witness, and he had his high-tech investigative method. He was ready to finally solve the mystery of being. But, and this is the final twist in the story, the investigation never got finished. You see, the book that we call Being in Time is actually only the first part of a much bigger project. Heidegger gave us this incredible deep dive analysis of us, of Dasein. But the final, most important parts, the sections where he was supposed to connect it all back and reveal the meaning of being itself, he just never wrote them. Why he stopped is a whole other mystery. But what it means is that the case file is still wide open. Heidegger didn't give us the answer. What he did was give us all the clues, he pointed us to the witness, ourselves, and he handed us the tools for the investigation. And then he left the rest to us. And that's really the question he leaves us with, isn't it? This whole investigation isn't just about some dusty, abstract idea. It's about our own lives, our own existence. Heidegger showed us the path. What might we find if we actually have the courage to walk it?